Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning, everybody.
Right. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We've got the lovely Charlotte from our Salon Success team, and she's going to go through an actual review that she would do with our clients. So what we've done is we've got the presentation ready, and this is something that Charlotte would usually go through on a one-to-one basis, but we want to do it with all of you guys just to make sure you're utilizing Salon IQ. And then when we get to the end of the webinar today, and obviously ask questions as you want to in the chat, but we will have a link where you can go and book a direct one-on-one with Charlotte or with Kate. And so over to you, Charlotte. The first thing we always say is we work on something called the 6 R's. So Charlotte, can you just explain to us what these 6 R's are?
Yes, of course, Cara. So, in a review, we like it to be an hour because by the time you've got on a Zoom and met each other and all of that, it takes that long to go over. So, this is a document that I use to explain ultimately how the automation is meant to work and how it can really help you within the system. There is a few other elements involved, and obviously, we don't have to stick to one review. We normally would like you to book in a few, so we will move forward from this point as well. So, the 6 R's is all about building good relationships with your clients, which is really important, making sure you're getting good reviews, ultimately good retention, because that's really important. No one is getting rich off one haircut. We all know that. Referrals, even better than reviews. When it's coming from a loved one or a friend or family, that is going to be a real loyal client there. Good revenue and good return of investment. Some of the things I will show you have no cost involved. Some do have a cost if they're an SMS, but there is ways to track that they are being successful and to monitor how that's working, because the last thing we want you to do is feel like you're wasting any money. Next slide, please, Cara.
Yes, miss. There you go.
So, one of the places I go before I come on to a review to see how things are going are this document here. It is a return of investment document. Two of the things I really like in this document is I can see how your online booking is doing for the month prior to the review, and also a no-show rate, which is really key. So, for example, I had a salon that had SMSs going out to confirm and to let the clients know about their appointments. They decided to turn that off because they were worried about cost. And I said, monitor this no-show rate. And they did, and it went up quite substantially. So obviously there is not one haircut was covering the cost of the text, basically. So they've got that straight back on. So it's a real good way of tracking those things. And obviously you can see here as well, you can also track how things like the gas and the GRS are doing, which I'll explain more about in a second. Next slide, please, Carl.
Just to let you know as well, on the top of this here, you'll be able to see that you've all got access to this report. If you want to see this report yourself, you just need to go to the menu button on Salon IQ, reports, system, and then monthly return on investment. And it'll break it all down for your online bookings, your gas, which is your recommend a friend, and then your guest attraction system as well.
One thing that we know is very important is reviews. Our industry is a little bit different to a lot of others in the fact that it's very Google based, which is, if for me personally, if I need a plumber or I'm going on holiday, I don't rely on a Google review. Hence why we like companies that verify the reviews, like Salon Spy. And this page here, when you have a look at this report, if you get this report, anytime you see a green box with links to glides, you can click in that and there'll be more information on there. There's a few of these boxes that will help you with more information on each particular page that you're on. This is just showing you how important the reviews are. We have ways through the system of helping you to keep on top of your Google reviews. We have things like QR codes and automated messages that can go out and help with that as well. We also work partnered with Salon Spy working through the system. It is important to talk to your clients about the reviews. Clients don't tend to just think to do it, and if you're not mentioning these things, they won't do it. And that's why we like the QR code, because then it's on their phone before they even leave the salon. I personally would be happy to give a review, but I may forget by the time I've driven home and things like that. So it's really good to talk to your clients and get them on that straight away.
Yeah, and it's really important that, Charlotte, that people think that the reviews can just be switched on, they will start working without having any input. And it's really important to make sure that you do get your team to say to the client, you know, they're stood at your reception saying, I love my hair, or I love my facial, I feel amazing. It's really important that you say, just to let you know, when you leave the salon today, you are going to get a text message. We would love you to give us a review. And then, you know, you're leaving them there when they're happy, and your team members can actually see these reviews. So if they go onto the mini dashboard on Salon IQ, they will see the reviews on there. So each individual team member will have access to see their own reviews. It'd be interesting to know who on the webinar today is actually using Salon Spy as well. Because would be lovely to know that, because we partner with Salon Spy, and they are really great. We've partnered with them for a very long time, and they're all verified reviews. And a verified review is really important. It means that someone can't just go onto Google and start giving you a review, because there's a lot. I could go onto Google now for any one of you and I could write a review. With Salon Spy, it's only verified reviews. It only goes to clients who physically had a booking in that salon, and they're the only ones who are then able to give you a review. When they review on Salon Spy, it goes on Salon Spy, it goes on Google, it goes on Salon IQ. So you're covered in all bases as well.
To add to that, Cara, I think when I last checked the stats, around 50% of your clients don't have a Gmail account. So
Mm-hmm.
with Salon Spy, that's not necessary. So if you look at your entire week's worth of clients, only half of them, even if they wanted to, could give you a Google review. And when you think of it like that, it's well worth using a company that can generate those reviews without that being necessary. And I think that plays a huge part in what you can get with success wise with them coming up, the reviews coming up and the numbers coming up.
Yeah, definitely. And you can see on the image here as well, the reviews are shared on your booking portal. So again, you know, your reviews are there for anyone who are new, who are looking for a new salon. They will see all of your reviews on your booking portal as well.
So this is where we get into sort of explaining how the automated messages are set up to work. Obviously, every salon is different and you can pick and choose what you use, but we recommend, well, there's reasons why we recommend all of them. There are solo messages that I absolutely love. Things like online chase, which if somebody puts a service in their basket, that will give them some encouragement to check that out a bit later on. Like if you've put a top in your basket on Boohoo or something like that, you've probably had that happen. Um, Birthdays are very good. I recommend doing them minus the days of the birthday to give the client time to get booked in, because no one's spoiling themselves after their birthday or after their birthday party. No show is a really good message to have going out. You, of course, get some people that repeat offend, don't really care that they've let you down. But on the flip side of that, we get genuine clients that are mortified that they've let you down, didn't mean to not show up. And sometimes that can be enough to make someone too embarrassed to come back, and we don't want that. So by sending out a no-show message, it automatically goes out. You don't have to do anything, and it will just say, we noticed we didn't see you today. We hope you are okay. And then links to get booked back in, phone number, whatever you need in there. So all those little one-off messages, they play a really good part. There's a few of those. But then we have systems that are set up. And this one here, the guest journey feature, is really, really key for building good relationships with clients and also standing out from a salon down the road. This is something they won't be doing necessarily. So by sending out a new client message previous to their first ever visit with you, you can have an explanation of where to park, what bus stops, if you want them 15 minutes early because you want them to fill out forms, all that kind of stuff. You can have that in a message, settle their nerves if they've got them, and get them ready for coming in for their first ever appointment. Also, a thank you. It's polite and people don't do it and it stands out. So we really like that. And after the visit, thank you for your visit. You can use our templates and we'll show you where they are. but also you can edit them or you can make your own, however you want to go around doing that. And how is your hair? How was your service? And the reason I love this, I've been a hairdresser since 95. Um, if there is something a little bit wrong with the appointment, but not a huge complaint, the client will just walk away. So if their fringe, for example, is too long, they walk away, they don't say anything to you. And then a friend says, "Oh, well, how was your hair?" "Yeah, it's all right, but my fringe is a bit long." "Oh, I know someone that can trim that." Before you know it, you've lost a client just because something wasn't quite right. So by you reaching out, you look professional, you're building a relationship, and you're offering to correct anything that they come back with, which is really, really key. We also offer other messages to go out within this guest journey feature, things like retail information, home care. So if a client has taken a product, for example, you can send out a reminder that they might be getting low at your chosen time frame of when you think that might be. Or, for example, if you recommended a product and the client didn't take it for whatever reason, you can then put the information about that product into their file and send that message out. So there's lots of useful messages that can keep in contact steadily with your client without spamming them, looking very professional and building a good relationship.
Yeah. And I think what's really important about this is we're not saying, there's not one thing that you've said there, Charlotte, that mentioned the word promotion. Not once did you say in that whole flow of things, because I think a lot of people think, right, I'm going to set all of this up, I'm going to put an offer in here, I'm going to put an offer in there. But the majority of this is all about just making sure that you've got the right flow for your client without giving them a promotion. And we all know it's lovely when you receive a text or an email and it's on your birthday. Sometimes it's just a reminder, just a reminder. The other thing that you can bring in here as well is if you're doing crossover services, hair and beauty, or your majority beauty, but you're doing some new services in the salon, it's a good way to say, do you know that we also offer all of these other services? And so when, especially when someone's a new client, but even Charlotte, you mentioned yesterday that we had a regular client who'd been with us 10 years, and we speak to her on a regular basis, but she didn't know that we did the online chase email. So I think we all assume that our clients know everything about our business and what we offer, but they don't. They don't. They just come into the salon, get what they need, and then leave. So it's a good way to upsell those other services and those other products that you have in the salon that they might actually not know about. Yeah. Jenny, I can also see there's some messages in the chat. So if you are there, if there's anything that we need to answer, just jump in and let us know.
Thanks, Jenny. So this one, the guest retention system, is probably my favorite, and I'll tell you for why, because I'm exactly the client that needs this. So, for example, I had a facial, had to take my next appointment out, never rebooked. My therapist never sends these messages out. If she did, I'd probably just reply and get it booked in. She doesn't have online booking. I don't, the only time I think about it is when I'm taking my makeup off. If I had these messages sent to me, I would have 100% booked back in by now and gone back. These are important messages. They play a real strong part in filling up your white space. You can change your time frames. We've got some great time frames already set up based on what we already know about salons. We've got templates ready to go as well, but obviously you can tweak these exactly how you want them to work. When I first started here, I looked at this and I was a bit like, oh, 52 weeks. I wonder how many people return on a 52-week message. And shockingly, quite a lot. Obviously, they don't normally generate as many as the earlier weeks, but they still pull in clients that possibly have gone somewhere else thinking the grass was greener, or they got an offer or a voucher given to them, something like that. And now they're embarrassed to come back, a little bit like the no-show message. So how these work is if, for example, you set up a 12-week retention message and you had 6 clients today, 3 of them rebooked and the other 3 didn't, on that day in 12 weeks, those 3 clients will get that retention message saying, we noticed you didn't rebook or you don't have a current appointment, and get you booked back in, booking link, phone number, etc. They do not ever spam your clients because they will only go to certain triggered going to certain clients that have certain triggers on that day. So where it may feel like, and I get a lot of people say, oh, it looks like a lot of emails. It does look like a lot of emails and messages going out, but they're not spamming. Now, I've signed up to shops when I think you get forced to a lot of the time because they want to send you the receipt and it's their way of getting your email. And I've generally got a shop that sends me the same email 3 times a day. And I've tried to unsubscribe. There is none of that. These are dripping out. They look personalized. They look like you've handwritten them to that one client, and it will only go to the people that need it. So you don't have to worry about that side of things. But these messages all play such a good part, and somebody might miss one and then book in on the next. So we see success on all of these, and we can show you how to track that success as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, if I rebook my appointment then within the 8 to 12 weeks, Charlotte, I'm not going to receive the 26-week email because I've already rebooked my appointment. And I think that's the thing that really frightens people, that they think I'm going to keep getting these emails.
Yes.
If the client's booking, it's not going to hit them.
And also, if someone did book in today with you, but then remove the appointment, it will pick them up as well. So it's not just picking up the people that don't rebook at the time. So it's very, very useful system to have on. And I see salons that don't have it on, and then I meet with them again like 8 weeks later, 12 weeks later, and you can straight away see the success. So I recommend getting them on as soon as possible.
Yeah, and you do have a mixture of clients who read the text messages or read the emails, which is why we break it up and we say mix it up. Do the text message definitely on the 8 to 12 week. An 8 to 12 week is just really a reminder. You're getting to that point now where you should have rebooked your appointment for your next. Now, obviously, this will depend on whether you do hair or beauty. So with hair, it's 8 to 12 weeks, but with beauty, it might be 4 to 8 weeks.
Just to interrupt you there, Cara, if you move to the next slide, it's got
you've got it.
other time. Yeah, time frame.
There you go. I'm jumping ahead.
So yes, so these are obviously, again, like I said, you can tweak these, you can change the time frames however you want them to work, but we know these work. We know these from experience. So this is a beauty guide and a barber guide, so you can see that compared to the hair on the last slide.
Yeah, and if you've got your phone, you've got a free rebook and ebook as well. So if you just get your phone out, go onto your camera and basically just scan over this QR code here, like so. You should then get a link that says add your email address in here. Pop your email address in and you will get a free ebook which will show you the flows for the retention. Okay, so that's for your beauty and your barbers.
Now, whereas the last two systems, once you're happy with the content and the time frames, you've got them toggled on, they're going to plod away in the background doing their thing. Obviously, you want to keep an eye and track how well they're doing, but essentially, they're going to work for you without you doing anything after that initial setup. This system takes a little bit more work, but can be way more successful in many ways. And there is nothing better than new clients walking through the door. We need to keep on top of that, and this is the best way to do it. This is our guest attraction system. So if ever you see gas or referrals, guest attraction system, this is what this is. This is a way of pulling in your existing clients, families, friends, and loved ones. And therefore, it packs more punch than a referral because it's from someone they trust. How it works is you set it all up and it can be really, really tailored to your salon to work the best for you guys. And then an hour after the client leaves, they get a text that they send on to their friends, family that they think might come in. You can tailor this. So if you have a self-employed team member doesn't want to be involved, or someone fully booked, or yourself as a manager doesn't want to be doing it, you can turn that individual team member off. If you have a client and you know all her friends and family already come in, she doesn't want this message, you can turn that client off. If you don't want the codes to be used on a Saturday because you're already very busy, you can turn a Saturday off. You can change what you offer. I've seen all sorts. So we have percentages. We have some stats that we know work really well. But I have seen salons giving out little perfume, little shampoos and little presents and all sorts. So I've seen all sorts, and it all works, to be honest. We all like a gift. So it takes a bit of a setup. I recommend personally having a session with education to get this set up so you get it working perfectly for you. It takes all members using it well. So all members of your team need to know about this. So that if you have front of house, they need to use it correctly at the desk. And the team members fundamentally need to be on this talking to their clients. If you don't tell a client what to do, I can guarantee that most of them won't read the text and they won't forward it on, or they won't read it correctly. So the biggest problem I see with that is the team members not instructing the clients. You need to be bigging this up. So if you're saying to your client, "Oh my God, we've got an amazing offer. Who have you got? Would your sister come in? Would your brother come in? But do me a favor, you've got to forward this text when you get it." They're not going to do it if you don't do that, or some definitely won't. So we definitely recommend maybe a team meeting, sort of really getting some enthusiasm behind this to get the ball rolling. It's amazing for new team members that are a little bit more gappy, someone that's come up from college, just going onto the floor. And you can really create quite a cycle, because the new client then becomes a referrer. And I've seen this happen many times. Genuinely, I've had one person that happened to have someone in her chair that was an influencer. She didn't even know that. She generated 17 new clients. That is unusual, obviously, but it's amazing. So we see some amazing success from this. The report down the bottom of this page is a genuine report, salon called Hoopers. And you can see here in the last year, they sent out just under 3,000 messages. That generated 39 new clients and generated them over £10,000 in revenue. So you can see there that it's successful. And I recommend getting this on, because if we don't have new clients coming through the door, unfortunately, we lose clients. We can't help that, whether they move away or whatever the reason being. We need to be generating new, and this is the best way to be doing it.
It's great, that, Charlotte. And I think we've also seen some clients, if you've already got a referral scheme in the salon and you're using cards and you're handing them around, it can still work with them. You can still hand out your cards to let them know that this is the referral scheme that we've got, and you'll also receive a text message. So you don't have to stop what you're doing in the salon. They can actually work together, and you can do both of them at the same time.
I literally had a salon say that last week, actually. They was like, "Oh, I've just had cards made up." I was like, "We can do that. We can do that together."
Doing both of them, brilliant. Oh, and I'm right in saying, Charlotte, we can see here the best practice guide is on these slides.
Anytime you see that
when you
box,
do your one-on-one with a salon, you send them these slides, so they've got homework, so to speak. So they all have homework, so they can work through. And
Cara,
we can
when you see the end of this document, you'll see the homework.
You've got a lot of homework. Brilliant. This is what we like. It was amazing. Thank you, Charlotte. There you go. So you can scan the workbook. If you just scan this now, you should be able to download the workbook for our account reviews. If you just grab your phone.
Which Jenny secretly added and didn't tell me. I just found it by accident.
We can email these slides over as well, along with the recording of the webinar, so you'll be able to get all the information that you need from there.
Can you go back to Cara? Just want to touch on this one. That's it. Sorry.
There you go. Don't go on the slides
this
today.
one. So where I was saying we can help you to track all of these messages and see how successful they're being. There is a few reports here, and I recommend having a look at all of them. You probably are using some of them already, if I'm honest. For me, the most important one, I mean, that top right one, we've already touched on at the start of this webinar, so I won't go into that one at all. But for me, the most important is the top left. This one is so important for keeping an eye on all sorts. So any blasts or campaigns will show in here as well. You can change date ranges, which is really key. So if you was to send something out last year and you can't remember how successful it was, you can look back and see how things are doing. And really important when you're paying for messages to sort of track how they're doing and make sure they're doing well. Anytime you see that orange writing, you can click on what that is, and you can get up a list of the clients that have received this message, whether they've booked back in and what they've spent. So you can really dig deeply into how successful these are being. This campaign manager here will show you whether the messages are email or SMS, what category they come under, retention, birthday, what have you, whether there was a cost involved, how many went out, who's booked back in. So it's a real good place to come. If you have front of house, get them on it. But even if you're snatching 15 minutes on the end of a Friday just to make sure everything's running well, I recommend it. It's not going to take long.
And again.
So this is a little bit in the slides about IQ Pay. So this is really, really a passion of ours. It plays such a good part within the system, way more than a card machine. People are like, what is a card machine? No, it's not, to be honest. It, aside from the fact that your cashing up is seamless and all of those other things, something that is really fashionable now and clients absolutely love is subscriptions or memberships. Clients like to pay in and have that pocket money already in there. And you can set up whatever you want as a subscription or a membership. So you can set up blow dry clubs or what have you. We've got a salon that every single client that comes to them has to have a membership. So she has her money already. Doesn't matter if they no show. She's got different tiers, so they get benefits from picking a certain tier and a certain price they pay in. So you can use it very cleverly, and it's absolutely amazing. And it's the way forward as well, if I'm honest, because that's what clients love, absolutely love.
Yeah, and easy cashing up. Everything's connected to Salon IQ, and then you can also do your tips through the terminal, which are then directly paid into the team members' bank accounts.
And we have seen such huge success from using this tips, as in the tips growing. The team members can't believe the change in what they get now. I think people had stopped having cash in their purse and therefore would be like, oh, sugar, I've forgotten. I'll give you something. I'll pop back in. You'll hear that all the time. Or I'll give you double next time. Doesn't happen. It's fine. We're not there for the tips. We're there to do what we're doing. But obviously, we do like a tip.
Yeah.
And the fact that this has really increased the amount of tips the team members get is absolutely phenomenal, like beyond our expectations or beyond mine for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and you can see here you got 48% of increase in tips when you use an IQ Pay. £10.45 is the average tip when doing this. 68% of bills when using IQ Pay will have a tip added on as well. And then 30% satisfaction from the team members, because the team members are always saying, I want a pay rise, I need more money, I really need to get my mortgage. This is a great way for them to earn that extra wage. And it also takes it away from you as an owner, because the tip is going directly to the team member and not into the salon's account.
And when I went back to my salon I was at post-COVID, she obviously couldn't take cash at that point, and she was like, I'm not dealing with the tips. No one's having tips. We're just saying no. And it really packed a punch. You don't realize how much you rely on tips, even if it's for your lunch and your travel and your parking or whatever you need it for, just day to day, and then you're not touching your wage. So by being able to boost those tips for your team members, it has such a good impact on the team. So
Yeah, and I
positive.
think from here, Charlotte, you can see one of the things that you said before. It's not just a pay terminal, because I think that's what a lot of people say. Oh, it just takes my money when the client checks out. But you can see here from real testimonials from our clients, especially the top one here, that IQ Pay has transformed our business. It's not just a payment solution, especially because it's coming with tips and memberships and subscriptions, and all of the extras. The other thing that is, when you're doing your reconciling at the end of the day or the end of the week, at the moment you'll be getting payments from your terminal into the account, and then separately your online book and strike payments into another account, and you're trying to figure those out. But with IQ Pay, it's all going through one. We will be your payment provider. We will in terms be your bank. So you come into the one person, and you're not having to ring multiple different people for that solution.
Also, just to add, Abby is all things IQ Pay and Stripe. She's a genius.
Yeah. Reach out to Abby if you're interested at all, or just pop your name in the chat if you want to have a little conversation with us about IQ Pay and how it works. Just pop your details in the chat and we can get someone to give you a call today.
So when I go on to review, I'm a real nerd. I've got color-coded pens. I make a load of notes before we start our Zoom. And one of the things I've always asked from the start is whether you have an apprentice, because sometimes they may help you with social media and things like that. But the other thing I always ask is, do you have a front of house team member? Because some of what I discuss, you may want them managing for you. And that's why I've always asked that question. One thing I have seen is a decline in having front of house. Not everyone had someone there anyway, but certainly on the back of the dreaded budget, we won't talk about that, but people have had to change who they employ, how they spend their money, which is a real dilemma for a lot of salons because and I've been this person, I've been in the middle of a blow dry and the phone is ringing for the third time and everyone else is out on lunch or what have you. And I'm like, do I stop what I'm doing again for this paying client and answer the phone, or do I miss a booking? Or you're snatching 10, 15 minutes for lunch and you've got to keep going and answering the phone. Or my biggest pet peeve was coming into a fully booked column. And before I started that column, I had to trudge through 15 voice messages and book those 15 people in. So we now have IQ Connect and it's absolutely phenomenal. This is an AI receptionist, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, bank holidays, whenever anyone is calling your salon, the call gets picked up. You train this receptionist to work for you. So you tell this AI receptionist your location, what are your features around you, what car park, what bus stop, Sainsbury's is opposite, all these kind of things, and you keep training it as it grows. So if it gets asked a question it can't answer, you then input that question and it will revert the call to you to look after that client. It's absolutely amazing. It's blown up. Everyone loves it. And the bottom line is, if you can't get to the phone, that's probably 9 times out of 10 a booking that you've missed. And that will never happen again. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And we did a great webinar last week. I mean, some of the faces I can see now are regulars who watch our webinars regularly on a Wednesday. But if you did miss the webinar, it's on our Facebook. So you can go on. We did a whole hour on IQ Connect, how it works. We had the lovely Jen from Obsessions, who's been live since the beginning, about October, November. But literally from that webinar, it's gone from that to 100 sign-ups in a week. So we've now got 100 people. They're coming in thick and fast, every day, people signing it up. Takes 2 days to get it set up. There's a little bit of back and forth, as Charlotte has just said, because there might be a particular question that you want the AI agent to answer. But it's very fast, it's very efficient, and you can turn it on and off whenever you want to. So again, if you're interested or you want some more information, just pop your details in the chat box, just your name and email maybe, and your salon name as well. That would be great.
One thing I would add to that is 9 times out of 10 when I mention it, the person I'm on a Zoom call with will go, oh, that's scary. And
yeah,
the bottom line with anybody in this industry, we're not normally techie people. We're normally hands-on. So it's probably more scary to our clients than other industries for sure. But when you then get into it, it's not scary at all. It really isn't scary. So back to homework.
Back to homework, the bit that I keep going about.
The last few pages on this document, I absolutely love. Like I said, I'm a nerd with my notebook. It's just got some ways of tracking what you're doing, some suggestions of leveling up, things you might not have known that you could do through the system. So we can book another session or book an education session. And ultimately, ways of tracking the messages. Did it make me money? Am I pleased with the results? Do I need to make any changes? Month 1, month 2, month 3. And if you just slide along for me, Cara, there is also suggestions for things you might want to add to the messages that you might not have thought of. Bus stops, car parking, things like that. So even if you get one bit of info from this, that's something, but I'm sure you'll get more. So yeah, it's a real passion of mine, this document. It sounds really geeky.
I love this. And I think our salons like a bit of homework, because I think sometimes we've all had in different areas of what we do a review, or we've gone to see a coach or a life coach, and you walk away and you're like, right, that was a lot of information. Like everything you're going through now, Charlotte, Salon IQ can do so much. And this is just a great way to have that there, that you can, it's not to do instant, is it, Charlotte? It's not to go, right, go away and do it now.
No, not at all. Also,
I had time.
just to add, there's a load of other stuff I go over on a review. I normally really cover little tips and tricks that get missed because when you're on board, you need to learn the fundamentals. So little things like booking wizards and things like that can get a bit missed. And like you said earlier about my client that's 10 years in and learned something, there's always, we're growing anyway, all the time, there's new features, but even the fundamentals that are always there, you may not know. So there's things that I cover um, aside from this document, and we can have more than one session. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the information, we can stop and we can rebook. I normally can tell if someone's like starting to glaze over because I've talked too much. So I'm like, yeah, let's book our next one in. And we can go at your pace. I can answer questions you've got. It doesn't have to be all just this. And we can go through anything you want to go through, and I can point you in the right direction as well.
Yeah, and I think you said earlier on that it doesn't have to just be the business owner, because business owners have front of house, they have management. If you've got someone who deals with this one particular part, then Charlotte can just cover that one particular part on the account review. So you can have anybody onto these account reviews as you wish.
Yes, 100%. I quite often will have an apprentice that I see a lot of salons that use their apprentices for doing a lot of stuff on social media because they're tech savvy, they've got a bit more time than the stylists. So to show them like the social media library and things like that, just suggestions. Sometimes I have a mini session after my main session with the owner or the manager with someone else front of house or an apprentice or something like that.
Amazing.
And go on, Cara.
Sorry. And then just on here, what is it that we go through at the end of your account review?
Yeah, so these are just links to get help. But if I'm honest, I always follow on with an email with links to get booked in with education should you need it. Websites like Salon Spy, etc., like that. I've sent all the information needed, the document through, so you can have a good look at it, a good read through. But these are just also some links to get booked back in, get some help if you need it with anything we've discussed.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you, Charlotte. Now, it is a lot of information, as you can see, that goes into the account reviews, and Charlotte will do it individually per salon. Before Charlotte or Kate, I think Kate's somewhere on here as well, when they do their account reviews, they actually do the prep and time before your account review, so they can individually go into your account codes, see what you're using, see what you're not using, and see where you can utilize it a little bit better, because I think, there's a lot of information on there and no one's ever going to have. I mean, do we have anyone with 100%? Is there anyone
No,
100%?
no.
Because we bring out new features like AI comes out and then tips come out, and then you start falling behind a little bit. And it's totally normal. So don't be frightened if you're thinking, oh, I'm only 60% utilized. I want to be a little bit more, even less than that. It's absolutely fine. Us as a team, we're all here to help you and get you using Salon IQ for all of the features that you need. And they may be
On
some.
top of that, Cara, one thing that I see a lot, because I will tell the clients what they're using on that first session. And actually, when I say that it's gone up on the second session, they're always really happy. It really pleases them that they've progressed. So that seeing that what you are using is really important because it makes you think, okay, I'm not using enough. I need to do a bit more and just sort of push it, which is amazing to see.
Amazing. And just having a little read through the chat, we've got quite a few people who are already using Salon Spy, which is great. Now that you know that you can actually see your reviews and replies on Salon IQ, we've popped in the FAQs of everything that you need, the best practices. Just going to check to see if there's anything that we've missed. I can see you've covered the cost. Oh, Sam and Jenny, you're on it. You're on it with the chat. The onboarding for IQ Connect. But don't forget we pop the webinar in there from last week. So you can have a little look at that. And if you want to book in a meeting with Charlotte, that's in the chat right now. And you can pop in a meeting and a time that suits you best. Yeah. Amazing. Any other questions, Jenny, that I've missed? I know you're here somewhere. Any questions that I've missed? We've got quite a bit going on
There was one from Abby to say that they have Salon Spy set up to go out every other visit. So can the guest attraction be sent out on the other in between visits so that they're not bombarded with them all falling on the same appointment or post appointment?
Well, so are you talking about the new client? So the new client, yes. So there's two different ways the way it works. So Salon Spy goes 1 hour after checkout. So you check it out, it goes 1 hour. If you go to your your new client journey, you will see that the email will go out either a day after or 2 days after, or you might have yours on the day. So what will be best is go to your new client email or your new client text message and amend that. I think it was you, Abby, amend that to be sent 1 day after. So they'll get the text message for Salon Spy today when I check out. And then tomorrow I will then get my new client email. And change that.
Can I just quickly ask a question?
Of course you can, yes.
Yeah. So we've never used a guest attraction system. Is that just for new clients then? Is that not for everyone?
No,
No,
the
it's
guest
for everyone.
attractions referrals. So that's your refer a friend.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different ones. The guest attraction system, which is your refer a friend. Then you've got your guest journey, which is your new clients. And then you've got your guest retention as well.
Yeah, so we're using guest journey and guest retention, but we're not using guest attraction system.
Got
So
okay.
Is that the one that can be set up to go out the day after, or?
When the client checks out, it will be, I think it's an hour after checkout.
Yeah, I think it has to go an hour
I'm
after.
sure it's an hour.
Yeah, just because my concern is if we're sending out a Salon Spy an hour after and sending out a refer a friend, it just seems like a bit much. So we've got Salon Spy set up for every other visit, an hour after every other visit. So I was wondering if we could set up the gas to go on the alternate visit.
So you can set gas to go out every particular days. So what you could probably do is instead of gas sending every 30 days, you would do it as every 60 days, and then it'll hit the in-betweens, if that makes sense. So Salon Spy would go first, and then the gas one would go in between those.
Okay. Yeah, it's something to look into, but I shall be booking a review for Charlotte.
I hope to see all of you.
It's amazing to see all the features, because we break all the features down in each individual webinar, but when you put them all together like that, you're like, wow, there's so much information that you've probably still missed. So definitely, yeah, Abby, get yourself booked in with Charlotte.
I haven't even touched on tags and things like that. That's a big passion of mine. There's a lot I haven't even covered on today. So yeah, there's lots we can go over.
Yeah, and I think definitely we'll start doing these type of webinars maybe again in a couple of months' time, and bring in some different features that, get added to the reviews. Yeah, well done. Thank you, Charlotte. Very informative. And very good. It was Charlotte's first webinar today as well. So
I've been petrified. I've been absolutely petrified.
You were brilliant. It's just the same as doing it as a one-on-one. Amazing. Thank you. Right, as always, it's recorded. We will send everything around as long with the homework and the guides as well. We'll get them sent across. Give us about 24 hours because it just takes 24 hours to get the recording together. But yeah, we look forward to having you with some reviews with Charlotte. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Charlotte. Bye. Bye.